The season of FAFO continues. Multiple people have been fired from their jobs due to their comments regarding the floods in Texas. And could ABC's George Stephanopoulos face another defamation lawsuit? Well, let's start from the very beginning. This is Dr. Christina Probst. She is a pediatrician in Texas, or I should say, was a pediatrician in Texas. So she is very active on Facebook, and she actually changes her username on Facebook quite a bit. Again, her name is Christina Probst. But right here, she changed it to Christina. Now, the reason she changes her name a lot is because she's actually been banned from a lot of groups. She has gotten in hot water many times in the past for her controversial comments. And just this past weekend, she posted this: "May all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets be safe and dry. Kerr County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts." Well, first thing this morning, she was apparently suspended from her place of employment, which was Bluefish MD. According to Mediaite, Texas pediatrician suspended and removed over viral flood rant, hoping MAGA residents get what they voted for. Now, she was placed on administrative leave, but not even 2 hours after that article came out, she was flat out fired. Now, if you go to the website bluefishmd.com, they have a note at the very top: "To our patients and community, this past weekend we were made aware of a social media comment from one of our physicians. This individual is no longer employed by Bluefish Pediatrics. As we previously mentioned in our original statement, we strongly condemn the comments that were made in that post." And it goes on. You can pause it if you want to read it, but I thought that this was just a brilliant response by the clinic. They didn't wait, and they didn't, beat around the bush. They were very decisive. And Bluefish Pediatrics is in association with Memorial Hermann Hospital, and they have also removed Dr. Probst from their website. This happened very quickly. You can see here if you search Memorial Hermann, her name no longer comes up. But it is not just Dr. Probst. This right here is Sade Perkins. Now, she is on the Houston Food Insecurity Board, and she is on that board no longer due to this video that she posted on TikTok.
There's people in it. Oh my God, there's so many people in it.
I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a whites-only girls Christian camp. They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token black person. It is a all white only conservative Christian camp. If you ain't white, you ain't right, you ain't getting in, you ain't going, period. And I think that context needs to be said in this matter. It's not to say that we don't want the girls to be found, whatever girls that are missing or whatever right now, but you best believe, especially in today's political climate, if this were a group of Hispanic girls, especially with them being in East Texas, it should be most likely Hispanic. If this were a group of Hispanic girls out there, this would not be getting this type of coverage that they're getting. No one would give a and all these white people, the parents of these little girls, would be saying things like they need to be deported, they shouldn't have been here in the first place, and yada yada yada. So before y'all come at me, before y'all start leaving hate comments on my page about, oh, these are just kids and they don't know no better, the parents of these children who are choosing, and it is a choice in 2025, it is definitely a freaking choice to go into East Texas and to make a all-white enclave exclusionary just for white people, with all the black people in East Texas, with all the Hispanic people in East Texas. Somehow, some way, you have carved out an all-white, whites-only enclave.
Okay, yeah, the video keeps going on, and I'm not going to subject you to that torture. But that is just, I mean, yeah, obviously there are so many wrongs with her logic there, or lack thereof. First of all, there is no whites-only summer camp or whites enclave. As many of you know, especially if you have children, you have to enroll your kids in summer camp, and many of these camps have fees. So if there are a lot of Hispanics and a lot of blacks in that area, and they're not at that summer camp, it's not because the summer camp camp is whites only. No, it's because those communities, for whatever reason, aren't enrolling their children in that camp. Maybe they're doing it because of the distance. Maybe they're doing it because of costs. There are so many reasons why that may be the way it is. It doesn't mean it's racism. And I actually went online, searched on Reddit, on X, on Threads, on TikTok to see if there were any stories, right? Because we all have access to the internet now. If you're watching this video, obviously you do. And if there's ever a case where, let's say a minority parent applied to somewhere and wanted to enroll their kids in a summer camp and they were excluded, and there was a clear pattern that, oh, it's racism, they're not letting any of the Hispanics or black people in, people would be complaining online. Yet you can't find that anywhere that you search. So she's just way off base there. Second of all, she claimed that no one would care if these were minorities, but that's just, again, not the case. I seem to remember everyone talking about the Maui wildfires, which, that affected mostly Native Hawaiians, Hispanics, Pacific Islanders, Filipinos. You take a look at Hurricane Ida, which started in Louisiana, which obviously has a ton of minorities, and as the hurricane moved inland, it weakened into a tropical storm and then was just a very strong storm system. And by the time it hit New York City, it was still strong, and it flooded so much in New York City that it killed 43 people in New York City alone. And most of those people, guess what, were minorities in basements, and that got a ton of news coverage. You can go example after example after example. Heck, her argument that people would only care if it was white people, Drogon, it's proven false immediately when you think of Hurricane Helene. Drogon, come on. When you think of Hurricane Helene, right? Because a lot of people in North Carolina, even though that area is predominantly white, they felt like they were ignored by the media. They felt like they were ignored by the federal government. And so, again, it's just proof that she doesn't really know what she's talking about. The issue that I have is that the left likes to play this Olympics of suffering. Who can be the biggest victim? Personally, for me, I would be trying to run away from that podium because I have I have individual agency. I can make my own choices. I can take responsibility for my life. But what some people want to do, for whatever reason, is they want the gold medal of victimhood. So they will find every way they can to blame everyone else for their circumstances, to blame everyone else for their misfortune, rather than taking personal responsibility. And quite frankly, that's sad. The mayor's office in Houston has officially responded to this, writing, "The comments shared on social media are deeply inappropriate and have no place in a decent society, especially as families grieve the confirmed deaths and the ongoing search for the missing. The individual who made these comments is not a City of Houston employee. She was appointed to the city's Food Insecurity Board by former Mayor Sylvester Turner in 2023, and her term expired in January 2025. Mayor John Whitmire has no plans to reappoint her, and the city is taking immediate steps to remove her permanently from the board." Now, last but not least, could George Stephanopoulos of ABC have opened himself to another major lawsuit from the Trump administration? But before I get into that, I would like to acknowledge RL 1401, Jenny Rankin, the Hammy 10001, Jazz Dude in Avalon, KG Burke, and G Ren as the members of today's Governors Club. These are people who have given tips and super thanks to the channel. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you enjoy. And just to clarify, because I do get comments on this sometimes, I don't expect anyone to give tips or super thanks or anything like that. It's just, when people do that and they express their gratitude that way, I just want to, publicly acknowledge them, because I don't expect it. And you guys have been gracious to me, and I just want to thank you. Now, George Stephanopoulos has already cost ABC $16 million, right? They settled with President Trump. CBS News is in the process of settling right now, and they also have agreed to give $16 million to President Trump's future presidential library, coincidentally symbolically matching that $16 million. Now, yesterday, I told you in my video about the Texas floods, about how there really were no staffing shortages with the NWS. But despite all of the evidence out there, this is what George Stephanopoulos had to say.
Maria, we're also learning that there were significant staffing shortfalls at the National Weather Service's offices in the region.
You know, George, as of right now, the local county officials really didn't want to address that just yet. What they are telling us is they expected between 4 and 6 inches of rain. That is what weather experts told them, the National Weather Service as well. They also knew that in remote locations, they might get anywhere from 8 to 10 inches. But this amount of rain in such a short amount of time, it was very difficult to navigate. And when the Department of Homeland Security Secretary was here just yesterday, she acknowledged this was an issue. She was going to take these concerns to the White House as well and try and see if there was anything they could do to revamp the system. She says the president is committed to it.
Maria, thanks very much.
Again, let's just take a look at what the Associated Press had to say. Weather Service had extra staffers. The National Weather Service office in New Braunfels, which delivers forecasts for Austin, San Antonio, and the surrounding areas, had extra staff on duty during the storms, Runyon said. Where the office would typically have 2 forecasters on duty during clear weather, they had up to 5 on staff. There were extra people in here that night, and that's typical in every Weather Service office. You staff up for an event and bring people in on overtime and hold people over. And in fact, if you do research as to a lot of these cuts, most of them, the cuts actually happen overnight where the offices are going to be empty, but people are going to be called in when they know that severe weather is on the horizon. Furthermore, many of these cuts actually don't take effect until fiscal year 2026, so it's not as if that's happened. Last but not least, many of the openings are people who have not been fired, but people who resigned, a lot of them because of protests. Like, yes, there were the Doge buyouts, and some people took the government up on those buyout offers, but many people who have resigned have done so in protest or solidarity with people who were fired. So this is kind of a crisis of their own making. But regardless, I'm talking about the NWS specifically, but regardless, we do know that the NWS was not understaffed that night. And Wired, which is not a right-leaning organization or publication, published this. Meteorologists say the National Weather Service did its job in Texas. Doge cut hundreds of jobs at the NWS, but experts who spoke to Wired say the agency accurately predicted. I really just want people to understand that the forecast office in San Antonio did a fantastic job, Vagansky says. They got the warning out, but this was an extreme event. The rainfall rates over this 6-hour period were higher than 1,000-year rainfall rates. That equates to there being less than 0.1% chance of that happening in any given year. So they got the warnings out. This was clearly a historic event. Tragic doesn't take away from just how awful and tragic this is. But when you look at it, you can't blame this on any party or any one person. Nature is going to do what nature does. But as always, that's just my analysis and commentary. That's what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So what do you think about Dr. Probst and Sade Perkins being fired from their jobs? And I'm sure there will be others who were fired in the subsequent days and weeks as well. Are you worried that this is too close to cancel culture, or do you think they deserve to be fired? Let me know down in the comments below. Personally, I think this is very different from cancel culture. I believe that cancel culture is more focused on political awareness and bullying people into believing a specific ideology or conforming to what is socially acceptable. But when it comes to instances like this, when you are a public servant, when you have dedicated your life, a pediatrician, your life to making sure that people are healthy, especially kids, and then a public servant being on Houston's Food and Security Board, I believe that you should be held to a higher standard there. You're meant to serve the people and be a force for good in the world. And so personally, I don't think this is the same as cancel culture, but I've also seen some people critiquing that as well, and I would like your input down in the comments. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more people like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.